There is also resistance to pandemic restrictions in Manitoba. 7 churches from that province will be in court today, hoping to convince a judge that current lockdown measures violate Canadians' charter rights. As Karen Pauls tells us, the churches will also argue Manitoba's chief medical officer failed to consider the social costs of locking down.
And the fine is going to be $1,296.
You can fine me twice.
For 2 different dates.
For 2 different dates.
A Manitoba church pastor receives tickets for defying public health orders after speaking at a large anti-mask rally and for holding church services in person and without masks on. Tobias Thiessen is one of the people challenging Manitoba's COVID-19 restrictions in court, saying they violate charter-protected freedoms of conscience, religion, expression, and peaceful assembly. This expert says there's no question rights are being restricted, but
as long as government lawyers can come to court and show the statistics of hospitalization rates and deaths and transmission of disease, those government lawyers are going to have a very, very strong case that these are reasonable limits. Because whether or not you're at a church service or whether or not you're at a hockey game, the virus doesn't care. It only cares about transmitting from one person to another in gatherings.
But this expert says things could change quickly.
As vaccines roll out and as hopefully case numbers go down, the benefit of these policies, relatively speaking, is going to decrease. Meanwhile, the cost that's being imposed on religious communities is only going to grow greater. And so at some point, we should expect the balance to shift. It's not a question so much of if as when.
This court case in Manitoba is just one being argued across Canada as resistance to public health measures grows. There were protests after a church near Edmonton was forcibly closed by Alberta Health Services last month, and an independent MP and provincial MPP are among those charged for attending a large church service in Ontario in April. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Winnipeg.